right, let's begin this hour with our series, Protecting the Planet, which this morning focuses on one of the most prolific conservationists in the world. A stunning new documentary called Wildlife follows the journey of Chris Tompkins, the former CEO of the outdoor clothing company Patagonia. She's on an inspiring mission to save wilderness areas in the Patagonia region at the southern end of South America. Senior national and environmental correspondent Ben Tracy sat down with Tompkins and filmmakers to talk about her epic life story.
Come on, Ben.
Keeping up with Chris Tompkins is not easy.
Well, I can tell you've spent many an hour in a kayak, because I'm just trying to keep up with you here.
No.
And here on the urban waterways of Austin, Texas, her mind floats to something much bigger and much farther away.
If you just focused on that bank, that west bank, you'd think, oh, we're in the middle of a national park.
Tompkins knows a lot about national parks. For 3 decades, she's helped create or expand 15 of them in South America's Patagonia region, protecting nearly 15 million acres of land that likely would have been lost to mining and logging.
Why is it so important?
You have to protect the lungs of the world. We can't use up every square inch of this planet.
Worldwide, we are losing wilderness at the rate of 27 million acres a year. Just in the tropics, that's equivalent to 10 soccer fields every minute.
You have to make space for non-human life. And once you decide that that's the kind of person you are, your life has changed.
Well, East Coast girls are here.
Chris Tompkins' life changed back in 1973 when she began working with her friend Yvonne Chenard at his little-known climbing equipment company.
And then we started making clothes, and that became Patagonia Company.
She was Patagonia's first CEO for 14 years until she met and fell in love with Doug Tompkins, who also knew a little something about clothes. He was the co-founder of the North Face and later Esprit. He left the fashion industry in the early 90s and convinced Chris to join him in Chile.
I'm going to leave my role as CEO.
I retired, and 2 days later on Sunday, with 2 little bags, I closed up my beach house and moved to a roadless area on the coast of Chile.
God, what a life.
That journey is the subject of the new documentary film, Wildlife. It chronicles how Doug and Chris Tompkins devoted much of their lives and wealth to buying up vast tracts of land in Patagonia.
And pretty soon, we had the makings of a park.
They never intended to keep the land for themselves. Through Tompkins Conservation, they became 2 of the largest private landowners in the world, protecting what Chris Tompkins calls the crown jewels of Patagonia for everyone to enjoy.
It's the same way we feel about any land we've ever conserved. This has never been the Chris and Doug story.
It was all about love.
But the Chris and Doug story is the heart of the documentary by filmmakers Jimmy Chin and Chai Vassarelli, the husband and wife duo behind the Oscar-winning film Free Solo, about famed El Capitan climber Alex Honnold.
We make films about people achieving the impossible. Yellowstone National Park is the biggest national park in the United States. That's 2 million acres. They preserved, at this point, 15 million acres.
Doug, he had this audacious vision of these parks, and he happened to fall in love with a great CEO who could execute this stuff really well.
How you doing, Chris?
I'm okay.
Chin and Vassarelli are close friends with most of the people in the film, and Doug Tompkins was Chin's climbing mentor.
I felt more pressure in making this film than any film I've made. When you're making a film about your heroes, you better get it right.
I've always wanted to make a film about a strong female protagonist, and Chris is that in spades. And I think especially when her 3rd act came, you really see a woman find her voice.
They took the Zodiac out.
But that 3rd act was born from tragedy.
Douglas Tompkins died Tuesday in an accident in Chile.
Doug Tompkins was killed in a kayaking accident in 2015.
And then we flew him the next day,
leaving Chris shattered.
Thank you for coming.
Is there something you've learned about yourself that maybe you might not have had you not lost your husband?
Losing Doug was the worst thing that could happen to me. In the shadow of that, you realize you have no fear. And that makes you absolutely free to take on anything.
That fearlessness has fueled her work.
2.3 million.
Now we're talking.
Securing even more land and helping rewild it with native species including pumas and jaguars.
Hola!
And in 2018, Chris Tompkins handed over land for 5 more national parks to the president of Chile.
You should be so proud.
One of the largest private land donations in history.
What were you feeling in that moment as you were saying, okay, here you go?
Lola, we made it! It was the purest sense of joy I think I ever have experienced. I love urban parks. They're the jewels of the cities.
Tompkins saw the documentary for the first time last month at the South by Southwest Festival in Austin. And at age 72, she says she still has a lot more work to do.
My intention is to do this work until I drop dead. So we're just getting warmed up. That's how I feel.
For CBS Mornings, I'm Ben Tracy in Austin.
Wow, Chris Tompkins, my new hero. I can't wait to see that documentary.
Yeah, I mean, there's an incredible level of spiritual enlightenment when she says, you know, you realize you have no fear, and that makes you absolutely free to do anything.
It's true. You have no fear when you go through something really horrific to you personally, and you survive it. It does give you a different kind of fierceness that you probably didn't even know you had. And they're not making any more land. So the fact that she has the land and she's donating it to very good causes, I think she's amazing.
And you think of the majesty of Yellowstone Park and the size of it, and what she's talking about is magnitudes larger than Yellowstone Park.
15 million acres.
It's amazing.
And when she said giving the land, guys, she said it gave her the purest sense of joy. May we all do that. Give something that makes us feel that way.
Amen.
Oh, what a feeling.
Makes you want to go hiking, doesn't it, Gail?
Done.
Well done, Ben Tracy.
I actually enjoy hiking. I don't look good doing it.
Go to Instagram.
I actually do
and
like
see Gail's hiking skills.
I actually do like
for yourself. Report back to us. Wildlife opens in select theaters starting tomorrow.